Welcome to this Farm Advisory Service video on sheep and goat movements. In this video you will learn the basic principles of the documentation required when moving sheep or goats from one location to another and how to report official movements and record them in the holding register. The identification and recording of livestock births, movements and deaths is a legal traceability requirement. It is essential for food safety, animal health and biosecurity. Failure to comply with these regulations can lead to a penalty at a government inspection, or in severe cases, movement restrictions can be enforced, so it's important to know and adhere to the rules. This video assumes that you're already registered with the Rural Payments and Inspections Directorate, have been allocated a county parish holding or CPH number for your business. It also assumes that you're registered as a sheep keeper with the Animal and Plant Health Agency and have been given a UK flock mark. It also assumes that the sheep or goats to be moved have already been tagged in compliance with the animal identification and traceability legislation. Before moving sheep on or off the holding, you must ensure that you have a Scottish Animal Movement Unit Book, otherwise known as a SAMU book. SAMU books are available from your local Scottish Government Agriculture and Rural Economy Office, and many local auction markets also carry a supply. All sheep movements must be accompanied by a movement document. There are a few exemptions to this rule, and they are sheep or goats that need to be moved for emergency veterinary treatment, sheep or goats moving to land covered by the same CPH number or location code, sheep or goats moving to a location covered by the 5 mile concession rule. This would be seasonal land within 5 miles of the main holding where your sheep or goats do not come into contact with any other keeper's livestock. Other than these exemptions, a movement document should always be completed. Now let's look at the detail required on a movement document. The first section of the document should be completed by the departure location keeper. This section looks for the CPH of the departure location, the date of departure, the number of animals being moved, the CPH of the receiving location, haulier details including the vehicle registration, name of driver, haulage company and permit number. If you are hauling your own livestock, enter self for the haulage company and leave the permit number blank. You must also include the ear tag identifiers of the animals involved in the movement. Slaughter tagged animals should be identified in a batch listing the numbers of animals carrying each particular flock mark. Animals identified with breeding tags should have their full identifier recorded. Where all sheep within the movement carry the same flock mark, this can be in a list format. Where the space on the movement document is insufficient to list all identifiers, you can attach a list detailing all the identifiers involved in the movement. You should annotate the list with the movement document number to which it relates to and the location of departure. Alternatively, you can use tick boxes on the movement document to demonstrate that you will provide the identifiers involved in the movement by other means. This could be through a critical control point at a market or abattoir to the ScotEID database, or by directly uploading to the ScotEID database yourself. Food chain information. The departure location keeper will be expected to indicate whether the animals in the consignment satisfy the food chain information statements on the reverse of the movement document. Where the animals do not satisfy these conditions, further information should be supplied on the reverse of the movement document. The departure location keeper can also indicate whether the food chain information is not relevant to the movement being recorded, such as when the movement is to a show or a within business move. The departure location keeper should then sign the document declaring that the information they have provided is correct and provide an address and contact details should any follow-up action be required. Movement documents come in triplicate form. Once completed, the pink copy is retained by the keeper at the holding of departure, and the white and yellow copies accompany the animals on their journey. When the sheep reach their destination, the receiving keeper will complete the movement document with their details, the date of arrival, the number of animals received, and the receiving keeper should sign and provide contact details. The receiving keeper will retain the yellow copy for their records, and the white copy should be sent to the Scottish Animal Movement Unit, or SAMU, to notify the move within 3 days. These movements can be reported by post, email or telephone. Copies of the movement document must be retained by the departure location keeper and the receiving keeper for 3 years. Where an animal has been purchased through a market, the market will issue their own version of a movement document to the receiving keeper. You will also have to indicate on these versions of the document the haulage details between the market to your holding, and these documents should also be retained for 3 years. Where animals have arrived from a Scottish market, the market will notify the movement to SAMU on your behalf. If the animals have arrived from any other market out with Scotland, you should notify the movement to SAMU within 3 days of the movement taking place. For show or exhibition movements, you will be expected to complete a movement document for both the outward journey and the return home. There is no official requirement to report sheep deaths to SAMU, and a movement document is not required for a carcass being uplifted by a knackery. There is, however, still a requirement to record the death in the holding register. When animals arrive, depart or die on your holding, you must record it in the holding register, and this must be done within 48 hours of the event taking place. For each movement, you must record the following: the date of event, whether it's an on movement, off movement or death, the number of sheep involved, the tag numbers of the animals involved, and again, for slaughter tagged sheep, it's the number of animals carrying each flock mark, and for fully tagged breeding sheep, the full individual number must be recorded. Again, this can be accompanied by a list of tags and cross-referenced if required. The CPH and location the animals have moved from or to, and the haulier details. Keepers must also be aware of the 13-day standstill regulations that come into force when moving animals onto the holding. Please see separate video on these regulations for more information. This video is part of a livestock record keeping series including videos on sheep identification and retagging. Please do not hesitate to contact the FAS helpline should you require any further information on this subject.